Hello everybody and welcome back to another edition of this month in Irish history. I'm Dan Murphy, Blue and Gold Illustrated. This is our senior editor, Lou Somogyi. It's August now, just about time for football season to get kicked off again. And today we're going to go back in history a quarter century, 25 years, about this time, 25 years ago. Lou Holtz was addressing the media right before his season got started in 1988 and telling the media that he thought his team was probably still a year away. They had a lot of problems to deal with. It's kind of a familiar scenario for Irish fans.
I mean, this is what we were talking about last year at this time. You know, you got a new starting quarterback, you lost Michael Floyd, you got to go on the road against Oklahoma and USC and Michigan State. So it's like kind of a table-setting year for this year. And lo and behold, you know, in '88 you get a national title, and here you're one game away. Both times you finished 12-0. It's just, unfortunately, you had another game to go there in 2012.
Right, the Nick Saban factor is a little bit different that time around.
Better than playing West Virginia.
Right.
It was better playing West Virginia.
Well, history always seems to have a way to repeat itself. And again, 20 years ago in this month, in August, it was 1993. Notre Dame had just lost Rick Meyer to the NFL draft. He was the #2 overall quarterback. And they had some other quarterback problems, not unlike this year. And what was the situation like that?
Well, even at the end of spring, Holtz didn't declare a starter. He called senior Kevin McDougal, who had thrown 21 career passes, and Paul Fela Jr., who was kind of, you know, deciding between football and baseball as a 1A. And Ron Paulus, the National Player of the Year, freshman, comes in, has an outstanding fall camp, and a week before the opener, he breaks his collarbone. And Holtz, that's about as ashen as I've ever seen him. He even called that the worst day of his life in the conference afterwards. Lou was kind of known for hyperbole and things like that. Or actually, the worst day of his life in football-related matters. And it's like, my gosh, now you don't have a quarterback. You just lost your star fullback, Jerome Bettis. He went pro a year early. And gosh, Lee Becton is way too slow to replace Reggie Brooks, who, you know, finished 5th in the Heisman. Lo and behold, there's Notre Dame #1 again after beating Florida State in November, 10-0, and ends up #2 in the country in a controversial way, with Florida State finishing #1. But these situations, you look at, oh, geez, we got to start Kevin McDougal now. Oh, geez, we got to go with Tommy Rees now. Sometimes these are galvanizing forces for a program.
Was the vibe back then, or was the vibe this year or last year, closer to what it was in '88 when they were a year away, or closer to '93 when they were kind of panicked that they were losing everybody?
Well, I think it's probably a little bit more like '88, because the program was beginning to get established then, whereas in '93 it was humming. I mean, it was 5 years of, you know, great teams and recruiting and everything, whereas in '88, my goodness, you lost your entire starting offensive line. There were 4 fifth-year seniors, and then the 5th one, Jeff Pearson, transferred to Michigan State. The only one with any experience was Tim Grunhard with 4 stars. You lost your Heisman Trophy winner, Tim Brown, sort of like you lost Michael Floyd last year. Your entire defensive line was 2 sophomores, Chris Zorch, who didn't play the previous year, George Williams, who played 8 minutes and 16 seconds, and Jeff Alm, who had never started and barely played 20 minutes as a junior. So, and then John Foley, who was the USA Today National Player of the Year, moved to defensive end. He suffered a career-ending injury. So it's like, my gosh, and Tony Rice, he can't pass. You know, he completed 42% as a sophomore. 1 touchdown pass, 4 interceptions. You can't, in this day of football, not have a passing quarterback. And it turns out pretty well.
Well, '88 did turn out pretty well. We'll have to see how 2013 goes. We'll be back now on a weekly basis, giving you a history of the week as the season gets rolling here. Thanks again for joining us on Blue and Gold Illustrated's History Moment of the Month.